Good evening. We're eventually. It's took a little while, 2 day process, but we're at the cooking stage of our sourdough. So I'm slightly early, and the reason is I've got some things to do, and like I've got to pick the wife up from work, so I don't want it in the oven while I go out. However, like I said before, it's got to work around us, and we're kind of the ones that have the schedule, and like I say, sourdough, because it's such a long process, it'll wait around a little bit, but obviously it's not going to wait in the oven. So to avoid burning our sourdough, which is taking us nearly 2 days to make, we're going to just bake it slightly early. Won't make much difference at all. Like I say, the time it's spent in the fridge is basically developing the flavour. It's done all the work. All the work is kind of done during that fermentation period or proving period. You kind of use those words interchangeably, and I know these terms can sound confusing because you talk about proving, you talk about fermenting. If you can think of it, that this is your ferment, the stuff that we have in the jar, and that's our yeast. Once it goes in there, it's fermenting all the time. So even though it's been in the fridge, it's fermenting. We've slowed down the process because that's what the temperature does. Basically, if you put it in the fridge, it kind of slows down everything. That's why it's not continue to rise up, because it's gone into a cold temperature. But it's still fermenting, it's developing, it's maturing. So you might see the phrase cold proving or cold fermenting, but it's essentially one and the same thing. And don't get hung up on phrases. What I think I might do at the end, I might just do a very short video. Oh yeah, I know that one. Very short video just on phrases, things like you'll hear about oven spring, or the ear of the bread, or the crumb and the crust. What's what? So I might just do one at the very end, just debunking some of the paraphernalia that goes with words that go with it. That can be a bit confusing. I thought crumb just meant what was left on your plate when you were eating bread, but apparently no, it's there's more to the crumb than just what's left on your plate. So let's have a look. So this is our new one, which is the new ferment that we've used, our new starter, and let's have a little look. So nothing. I'm not expecting to see much of a change in here. Yeah, it's risen a little bit. Yeah, it definitely has. It's evened out. Yep, it definitely has done that. And pretty much, it's just good now. It's straight out of the fridge. You don't wait. We don't mess about. The only thing I've done, and there's different thoughts around this one, but because I'm cooking both in comparison side by side, I've warmed the oven first. So they're both going into a warm oven. But you can go in cold. Just takes slightly longer. So you're not having to heat your oven up for like 2 hours before, anything daft like that. So, all said, let's get it in. It's a 220 fan, I've got it set to. And I'm going to cook it kind of, I've lowered the shelf. My oven splits into two, so I'm doing it in the top half. It doesn't really make any difference, top or bottom. But I've had to reduce the shelves down because I'm going to fit the whole pan in. Why do we use a pan? Well, the idea about using a pan is you enclose the dough and any moisture inside of that, and we're actually going to put some more moisture in here, and the moisture helps with the crust, helps form the crust. That's what it does. It's in bread making, that's to make something crusty. The baking in steam ovens and stuff like that. So we're mimicking that sort of thing. You can cook it without this. Don't get me wrong. It will cook. It'll be darker in colour, etc. But this is the way we're kind of going to do it. So I've got a little spray bottle with water, and I'm just going to give it a good dousing on the inside. Just a coating of a spray. Like I say, I'm not really holding back, but it's just got a nice, if you can imagine, like a really, like a kind of on a morning, the dew that sits on your granite, that's just just a fine mist. That's it. I'll give it a little go as well. And that's all we're doing, creating some moisture. Right, it's time to turn it out. So the way we're going to do it, this pan's slightly too small for this basket. However, I'm just going to do it regardless. And this is the way we're going to do it. So this is our basket. I'm going to cover it with a sheet of greaseproof paper. I'm going to take the pan, I'm going to tip it upside down over the top of that. Like I say, it won't go all the way to the bottom, this one, because my pan's slightly too small, but it's not a problem. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over in a one like that, and I'm going to take this out, if I can. And there you can see the dough, and it's got the little ridges on from the Banton basket, that's the rice flour that we used that stopped it sticking. Now I have had problems with sticking dough in the past, bit of a nightmare, because you end up misshapen things and what have you. So get the rice flour, or like I say, I'm going to use at some point, and I don't see why I can't use the fine semolina flour. So you get the coarse stuff all fine, but I'm just going to use the fine because the rice flour is fine. And what we're going to do now, you'll notice in sourdough you can see there's kind of a split on the top, and that comes with using the baker's lame. And all we're going to do, and as you see, I'm just going to score, and I'm just going to do it once, and because it's in the pot, I'm going to go across the middle, and you put the lame in like this. So this is a razor blade, and I'm kind of going to go in with this point, and I'm going to drag it across the bread, just like, well, I'm not going to do it with my finger, am I? That wouldn't be good, would it? No, don't do that, Jason. Otherwise our sourdough will be a red sourdough, and we don't want that. So let's just do it, and I'm going to just kind of pinch the bread one side so I'm not dragging it, and I'm going to go in, and I'm just going to pull it as kind of deep as I can without like pressing it too much. And I think bakers do it really quick. And I'm just going to go over it a second time because the first didn't kind of go as deep as I wanted. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like. And basically, it'll start opening up already. That's all I've done. I've scored across the top. So it's a weak point. And that's it. All we're going to do now, we're going to put the lid on. And it's good. So up to now, I hope you'll see, we still haven't done anything complicated. Honestly, I've just turned that out on there, a bit of greaseproof. We still haven't done anything hard, and as long as this turns out, we're all good. So everything's looking good up to now from what I've done before, etc, etc. The only thing is, this is a new starter, so it's not as weak, it's not as strong as the other one I'm using. But we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. So this is going to go in 45 minutes at 220 fan. After 40 minutes, I'm going to come and I'm going to take the lid off. And all that's going to do is help the crust just to colour a little bit, and it also helps to set the crust. Because you don't have to leave the lid on all the way through. You can take it off halfway through and end up with a really dark coloured crust. But what I'm showing you is the way I do it, which ends up with a lighter, slightly softer crust at the overall, which is not too hard to eat. So that's kind of where I'm going for. So let's just do this as the starting point. If you want it darker, it's up to you, but the way to do it is just take the lid off earlier, leave it on maybe for half the time, and then take the lid off for the last half of the time. We're going to do it for 40 minutes with the lid on, the last 5 minutes lid off. So it's going to go in now. I'm going to set my timer, and there we go. And I'm going to see you in 45 minutes, and we're going to have a little look at the fruits of our labours over the last 2 days. Then I'll get the other one in. So that's it for now. So we'll wait with anticipation to see what this is going to look like. So bye for now.